Welcome back to Good Day Las Vegas. It is time for our Morning Cup of Joe segment with Metro Sheriff Joe Lombardo. Sheriff, thank you for joining us once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, John.
So we heard the news a little while ago about Metro Police scaling back its academies from 6 a year to 2. There's a reduction in staff going on. How much of that reduction, how many staff are being lost, and what does that mean broadly for backfilling the staff that the department needs?
At the beginning of the pandemic, we saw there was going to be issues associated with the budget, so we put a hiring freeze in place. The only two classifications where we didn't was corrections officers and dispatchers, and some aspects crime scene investigators. I had to put a freeze on the ability to hire them, so we are just running 2 academies to accommodate attrition. So I lose right around 170 police officers a year just through normal retirement and separation and everything that goes along with the business.
We've seen an increase in anxiety, issues of mental health, depression, people taking their own lives. How much of an increase in those kinds of calls are you seeing at Metro Police, and how are the officers on the street trying to accommodate those situations?
We're down 1% in violent crime compared to last year at this time, and then right around 18% in property crime. So we're doing good as comparison against the rest of the nation. You know, when I get the stats from Major City Chiefs, we're probably the only agency in the United States right now are down across the board. Overall, there's a year-to-date there's an increase, but it's the curve is going down versus up, which is a good thing. So the future looks bright per se. There's a little light at the end of the tunnel, but we're going to have to make sure we stay on it.
Finally, Sheriff, we've talked before certainly about your friend, the late Eric Lloyd, Lieutenant Eric Lloyd, who passed away from the coronavirus. And we've also talked in the past about officers and how they are trying to protect themselves from the coronavirus when they're on the street. How has the passing of Lieutenant Lloyd maybe altered the mindset of officers and maybe encouraged them to be extra cautious when they're out on their beats?
We go through that John Wayne effect. What I call it is, you know, we're young and strong and immune to a lot of things, and it's never going to happen to us per se, but now it's happened to us. And you know, I had a lot of officers push back when I made it mandatory to wear your mask and gloves and all the PPE associated with this pandemic. But I think they're easing up on that position. And I don't think it has affected their safety per se and their ability to do their job. So we made it mandatory within the stations and our buildings with all our employees to include the patrol officers out on the street.
Sheriff Joe Lombardo, thank you once again for joining us this morning here on 8 News Now. If you at home have a question for the sheriff, you can submit them, of course, 8newsnow.com. You can find out if your question is answered every Wednesday.